You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
The Postgame Edition for April 28, 2018 on a Saturday night is now in session. Taylor Phillips along with Lewis Tenor. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Tigers almost blow an 8-1 lead, but they still hang on to beat the Baltimore Orioles 9-5. Yeah, the Tigers almost blew an 8-1 lead to one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball right now, the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, even it's on the road. Yeah, I know. But still, no matter where, you cannot almost blow a lead to one of the worst teams in the majors. The Orioles tried to come back. They put up a rally in the 7th inning. Tigers had an 8-1 lead. Miguel Cabrera finishing with 5 RBIs. Victor Martinez appeared to have put the nail in the coffin on the Orioles with a solo home run, an insurance solo home run in the 9th inning. Victor's only his 2nd home run for Victor Martinez, V-Mart. Miguel Cabrera, a 3-run home run, 3 for 4. That's pretty damn good. That's Miggy being Miggy. But I bet some teams want Miggy, but he's still way too damn expensive. But the Orioles are now 7-20. 7-20. And the Tigers almost blew an 8-1 lead. They try to cough it up. The Orioles dropped a 4 spot in the 7th inning, just like the Tigers did in the 2nd inning. Francisco Liriano got the win. He's 3-1. He continues to be contributive for this team to try to help get them wins. Only for Chris Ilitch, their careless owner. 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 6 1/3, 2 walks, 1 K. Got a 3.38 ERA. Not great, but not bad. But the way the Tigers try to cough this game up to one of the worst teams in the majors shows how bad the Tigers really are. Even if they win tonight, it still shows how bad they are. And that's just a part of the AL Comedy Central. Both teams finish their series with a rubber game tomorrow at 1:05. The Detroit Lions get their last 2 draft picks, 114 overall. Deshaun Hand from Alabama, a defensive lineman. He was arrested for DUI in July of last year, 2017, when police reportedly found him asleep at the wheel of a parked but running car. This is from Bleacher Report. While the arrest may have hurt his draft stock a little, Hand's bigger on-field issues are that he's strictly a two-gap defender and has limited experience and production. The experience problem is typical for Alabama defenders. For a national championship team, they were better off without him, the Crimson Tide, who always gets stuck behind other NFL caliber defenders early in their college careers. But the huge gifted Hand, Deshaun Hand, should have worked his way into the rotation more assertively before his final season. Hand lacks penetrating quickness and, ironically, refined hand technique, limiting his effectiveness as an edge rusher. He's a useful player, but the Lions need edge rushing talent desperately, and that is not Hand's strong suit. So they grade him a mid-range C, rightfully so, just to be fair. And then we go to 237 overall. Nick Bawden, a fullback from San Diego State, the Aztecs. His strengths, run blocking and athleticism. His weaknesses, a fullback. Nick Bawden moved from quarterback to fullback after his freshman year and ended up lead blocking for Donnell Pumphrey and Rashad Penny, both of whom led the nation in rushing. Bawden moves well and can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's decisive as a lead blocker, but not overpowering. With converted quarterback Trey Burton throwing trick play touchdowns in the Super Bowl, the Lions may give Bawden extra time to develop into a Burton-like H-back. That's a halfback, in case some of you don't know what that stands for. Grade fair, from excellent to poor. They grade it fair. So NFL.com, the NFL app, has its draft snap grades. The Lions finished with a mid-range B after trading up for their potential running back of the future. That's Kerryon Johnson. Last night, they traded up with the New England Patriots to get Kerryon Johnson, the running back from Auburn. A stud. Truly graded a mid-range A, like I mentioned last night in the Postgame Edition here on Spreaker. And man, the Lions got off to a great start. But the last two picks they got today, man, they'll possibly be cut. Deshaun Hand and Nick Bawden, well, we'll see what happens with them, but my view, they'll possibly get cut. The Lions need to narrow it down to their best players. That's what every team in the NFL does, narrowing it down to a 53-man roster. That's just the way it goes. Now, the third topic, the Red Wings falling only one spot from number 5 to number 6 in the NHL Draft Lottery, which is not as bad as falling from number 7 to number 9 last year in 2017 in the NHL Draft Lottery because of bad karma. Not as bad karma this year as it was last year. Still not good enough. And in fact, pretty bad if you're not getting Rasmus Dahlin if you're the Detroit Red Wings. They still didn't tank enough to get that number 1 overall pick, which belongs to the Buffalo Sabres. They managed to keep it. Carolina Hurricanes, number 2. Canadiens, Montreal, the Habs, number 3. So, before I turn it over, there is some legitimate stuff from the founder and editor-in-chief of the Detroit Sports Rag, Jeff Moss. You can follow him at least temporarily at temporarily at Det Sports Rag. He tweets, "My sources inside the Red Wings front office tell me that they are looking to take a power play specialist or a defenseman who looks like he is 11 years old with a 6 overall pick. Says, my apologies, bad intel. Those were the last 2 first-round picks." And then he tweets, not getting Dahlin ensures the Wings will still be horrible in 2 years when Holland's contract ends. Chris, I will say, quote, "I like our prospects and how things are coming. Wouldn't want to fly a plane with a pilot who hasn't done it before." Unquote. While Vegas lifts the cup for a 3rd straight season. And then he's not even done. Not only do the Wings not get Dahlin and slip a spot, there's a 66% chance he's going to end up in their division. That's Ken Holland, that is. Good luck with that draft pick, actually. Not Ken Holland, but the draft pick going to end up in their division. Good luck with that. Good luck with all of that, Ken and Chris. Ken Holland, the GM, and Chris Ilitch, the meaningless owner. And Anthony Ciotti replied, "The Wings should offer the Oilers Evgeny Svechnikov to whoever gets Andre. He will never have a higher value." Those 2 guys are talking sense as always. So, there you have it. There's still some bad karma left over after ending up with that 6 overall pick. Again, not as bad as last year, but still plenty of bad karma laid out on the table. So that's all the truth I have for you tonight. Now it's time for Lewiston Orr's National Sports Report. Let's hear you loud and clear, Louie.
You got it, all right. Because I hear you in stereo. Okay, let's do the diamond first. As in the middle of the 6th now, the Yankees are giving the Angels a beating right now, 10-1. Kinsler, Trout, and Upton are due up. Bottom of the 7th, Padres. The Padres are clobbering the Mets right now, 12-2. And in the bottom of the 7th, this looks like a lapper. All right, the Dodgers are leading the Giants 2-0 in the top of the 4th. 1 out, nobody on. Cujo is pitching, and Utley is coming to bat. Or as I like to call it, Ugly. Twins over the Reds, 3-1. Ona Dorsey got the win, Romano got the loss, and Rodney got the save. The White Sox shut out the Royals, 8-0. Fulmer got the win, and Oaks got the loss. The Cubs shut out the Brewers, 3-0. Quintinier got the win, and Guerrera got the loss. Final in 10 innings late this afternoon, the Diamondbacks edged the Nationals 4-3. Guerrero got the win, Solis got the loss, and Boxberger got the save. Rays doubled up on the Red Sox 12-6. Yarborough got the win, and Price got the loss. The Dodgers had a field day with the Giants, 15-6. Bueller got the win. Stratton got the loss. That's game 1 of a doubleheader. The Rangers over the Blue Jays today, 7-4. Cotton got the win. Garcia got the loss, and Kila got the save. Mariners over the Indians, 12-4. Leak got the win, and Carnesisco got the loss. The Braves over the Phillies, 4-1. Oldowitz got the win. Felipe got the loss, and Vizcaíno got the save. Tigers over the Orioles, 9-5. Loreno got the win, and Cashier got the loss. Pirates over the Cardinals, 6-2. Williams got the win, and Flattery got the loss. in a good old-fashioned thrashing. The Astros just beat up on the Athletics 11-0. McCullers Jr. got the win, and Aiden got a loss.
McCullers Jr. almost got a perfect game.
Ooh. Yeah, 3 hits for Athletics. The Marlins over the Rockies, 4-1. Chen got the win, Marquez got the loss, and Barcola got the save. And the Royals over the White Sox, this is game 2, this is now final. Royals over the White Sox 5-2. Stokeland got the win, Covey got the loss, and Herenia got the save. Alright, so now we'll just check the standings, and they go like this, since we're now in week 5 of the season. How do you like that? Alright, so the standings start off like this, usually in the American League East. And despite the loss, Boston Red Sox still have the lead at 19-7, a 2.5 game lead over the Yankees at 16-9. Blue Jays are 5 back at 14-12. The Rays are 6.5 back at 12-13. And the Orioles in the basement at 7-20, 12.5 back. Looks like another losing season in Baltimore. In the Central, the Indians are 14-11. 3 games ahead of Detroit, which are 11-14. Twins are 9-13, 3.5 back. White Sox are 8-17, 6 back, and the Royals at 8.5 back at 6-20. This is not called Comedy Central for nothing. Oof.
Right.
Yeah. The West. The Astros are 18-10, have a 1-game lead over the Angels at 16-10. The Mariners are 2 back at 15-11. Athletics 14-13, 3.5 back, and the Texas Rangers are 7 back at 11-17. Well, they have not been the same since they went to the World Series in 2011, for sure. Okay, it's a tight race in the National League East, as the Mets are still in front at 16-8, have a 1-game lead over the Phillies at 16-10. Atlanta's only 2 back at 15-11. Nationals are slipping at 11-16, 6.5 back. And the Marlins are 8-18 at 9 back. I have a bad feeling this year about them. In the Central, Pirates are 16-11. And this is interesting because 4 teams are within a half game of each other. The Cubs are a half game back at 14-10. The Cardinals are 15-11, a half game back. And the Brewers are a half game back at 16-12. And then you got the Reds, who are 6-21 at 10 back. Go figure. All right, in the West, Diamondbacks lead at 19-7. The Rockies are 5 back at 15-13. Dodgers 6.5 back at 12-13. Giants 12-14, 7 back. And the Padres are 9-18 at 10.5 back. So as we look on now to tomorrow's schedule and reread it like this. Of course, Sunday, so it means a ton of afternoon games. And we read like this. Starting with your 105 games, your Tigers up against the Orioles. The Rays against the Red Sox, 107. The Rangers take on the Blue Jays, 110 games. Mariners take on the Indians. And the Rockies take on the Marlins. 135, we got quite a few games here. The Diamondbacks versus the Nationals. The Cardinals take on the Pirates. The Braves take on the Phillies. 210, the Reds take on the Twins. The Athletics take on the Astros. 215, White Sox take on the Royals. At 2:20, the Brewers take on the Cubs. 4:10, the Mets take on the Padres down in San Diego. At 5:05, the Dodgers take on the Giants. At 8 o'clock, the Yankees take on the Angels. And they could use I think they can use a halo right now. Oof, oof. All right. So now let's go to the NHL as we're heading into overtime coming up between the Sharks and the Golden Knights. The end of the regulation tied at 3. The Bruins over the Lightning today, 6-2. Bergeron and Nash each score a pair of goals. 3-3. It's a lot different than that 7-0 game that we had on Thursday night, isn't it? Wow. All right. So looking at tomorrow's schedule, and this should be a doozy. There's only there's 2 games tomorrow. The Penguins will take on the Capitals. That's a 3 o'clock game. And the Jets will take on the Nashville Predators at 7. Pittsburgh and Washington play on NBC. The Jets and Predators play on NBC Sports Net. And we should be reaching overtime just about now. Fasten your seatbelts if I roll off you. All right. So now, let's go to the hardwood. Right now, the Warriors lead the Pelicans 48-39, 8:45 to go in the second period. Rajon Rondo has 7 assists, 4 points, and 3 rebounds. Draymond Green has 8 rebounds, 6 points, and 5 assists. And earlier today, we had the Celtics beating the Bucks 112-96. Chris Middleton had 32 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Terry Rozier had 26 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. All right, so then we'll take a look at tomorrow's schedule, which I think is a light one, but it's a big one. As we'll have a game 7 tomorrow. Here we go. And your game 7 is like this. Okay, we have 2 games actually. The Pacers will take on the Cavaliers. That's at 1 o'clock, and that's a game 7 in the first round. And the West semifinals begin game 1 tomorrow with the Jazz taking on the Rockets at 3:30. Both games are on ABC. So it's gonna be quite interesting. But for the Jazz, they got some bad news. I'll explain that in a little bit. All right, so I'll do some MLS just for laughs, of course. Most games are finished except one, which is the Red Bulls taking on the LA Galaxy right now, 1-0, 43 minutes in. We're coming up on the end of the first half. Atlanta beat Montreal 4-1. Toronto and Chicago ended in a 2-2 draw. And Philadelphia over DC 3-2. Columbus over. I'll get back to that. New England over Salt Lake 1-0. And Houston. Second here, I got a little bit. Columbus over second here. Columbus over San Jose 2-1, and last but not least, Minnesota over Houston 2-1. That's more like it. Okay, so now we'll get to the news department. And it goes like this. Okay, leading off, as my partner just wrote, the Celtics are advancing to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Yeah, rivalry renewed, of course. Draft is over as Trey Quinn was Mr. Irrelevant. Alabama has more players going to the NFL draft more than any other school. They had 12 players. That's a new draft record. Wow, 12 in the draft. That's amazing. Okay, now as I was mentioning with the Jazz guard Rick Rubio could miss up to 10 days with a left hamstring injury. League sources told ESPN today the hope that his rehab process could lead to a quick return. However, sources say early estimation on the injury suggests the Jazz will have to win without him. The Western Conference semifinals versus the Rockets begins tomorrow. Rubio left last night's game, a series-clinching win over the Thunder, appeared to tweak his hamstring after making a behind-the-back pass from Rudy Gobert. Midway through the first quarter, Rubio had limped a bit before checking out of the game and did not return. He suffered a similar injury this early in the season and missed, 7 games. The Cleveland Browns selected wide receiver Antonio Callaway, who tested positive for marijuana at the NFL Combine. After numerous issues at the University of Florida, he was selected today by the Browns as the 105th overall selection. Despite the troubling wide receiver, General Manager John Dorsey says he is comfortable with the selection. Callaway was suspended all of last season by the Gators for allegedly using stolen credit card information to fund bookstore accounts, and was cited last year for a misdemeanor marijuana possession and possession of drug equipment during a traffic stop. Callaway was cleared of sexual assault allegations by Article Title IX hearing officer in August of 2016. Troublemakers, right? The LA Rams have traded their wide receiver Tavon Austin to the Dallas Cowboys today for a 6th-round draft pick, 192nd overall, entering the 6th round. The Rams are scheduled to make 7 selections in the 6th round alone. Austin was selected 8th overall in 2013, drafted by the Rams when they were still in St. Louis. All right. Now here's the interesting thing about LeBron. Coming off a 34-point loss to the Pacers last night, LeBron James is thinking more of how a Game 7 loss tomorrow could end his season. Not that it could be his last game playing in a Cavaliers uniform. No, said James, when a reporter asked him how he would ponder his 11-year tenure in Cleveland could be coming to an end if the Cavaliers were to lose. And James chooses to sign within their team after opting out of the final year of his contract this summer. The thought of it, if we don't play well, it'll be my last game this season. That likely will hit my mind. I have not thought about last night's loss to the Pacers, as it snapped an 11-game streak for James teams to close out games, and loss tomorrow would snap his perfect 12-0 playoff record in the first round, and that has never happened in his career. But since it's being in Cleveland tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. I think he'll find a way to come through. We'll see. Titans outside linebacker Harold Landry says he does not have a nickname, but that may change after Vince Young butchered his name while announcing the team's draft pick last night. Titans up, baby, was selected 41st in the 2018 draft. What a weird name. The Titans selected Honor Landry. Young said, the problem is that the former Boston College edge rusher, the Titans converted enough to trade up to the second round. His name Harold. Each team selected a franchise legend to announce the second round draft selection. Young was the Titans rep from Arlington, Texas. Young realized his mistake and apologized to Landry via Twitter. Landry was being selected by the Titans when Young had messed up his name. Titans veterans players will now have an easy target if they want to choose a nickname for Landry. Now. Oh boy. As the old saying goes, well, what's in a name? Yeah, anybody can make a mistake like that. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers had traded up to the 76th pick in last night's draft to select Oklahoma State quarterback Mason Rudolph, whom the team targeted early in the draft process. In exchange, the team will send its 79th and will send the 79th and 220th pick to the Seattle Seahawks. Rudolph is the highest quarterback selected by Pittsburgh since Ben Roethlisberger was selected 11th back in 2004, and the franchise's 5th quarterback selected overall since that year. My. Long time ago. All right, so now I got some more news here coming up. Shaquem Griffin will be playing with his twin brother, Shaquille, in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks selected Griffin in the 5th round of the NFL draft with the 141st overall selection today. He told ESPN that he was speechless when he was called by the Seahawks. Can't blame him. I couldn't breathe, said Griffin, who played outside linebacker at University of Central Florida. I didn't know what to say. I was trying to get the words out, but I just couldn't talk. When you get caught up in all the emotion, yeah, of course not. Griffin has left amputated at age 4 because of anomic and syndrome, a congenital condition. A two-year starter at University of Central Florida, and a first-team All-American Athletic Conference selection in both seasons. He was the AAC's Defensive Player of the Year in 2016 and was named the Defensive MVP of the Peach Bowl, which completed UFC's 13-0 2017 season. Very remarkable. Griffin was a late addition to the list of NFL Scouting Combine, invites getting his formal invitation on January 30th. Both brothers were visibly emotional upon laying that Shaquem had been drafted by the Seahawks. Certainly wishing the best of luck. Yeah, but the Seahawks, though, Everybody knows how I feel about the Seahawks. All right, so let's see what else we got here. We'll check something on the baseball front. Check something on the NBA front here. I think I did come across something a little bit earlier. I think we just did.
This is the post-game edition on Spreaker here.
All right, Jaylen Brown sits out second half as the Celtics came out busting, and it goes like this. Celtics second-year swingman Jaylen Brown limped off the court after tweaking his right hamstring late in the first half earlier tonight. Brown did not return to Game 7, but the Celtics had their way against the Bucks, winning 112-96, and advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Celtics announced in the third quarter that Brown was able to return with what they called a sore hamstring, but the team appeared to err on the side of caution by holding him out. Brown came onto the court before the start of the second half and tried to run some sprints, but looked a bit hobbled. The Celtics sent him to ride a courtside exercise bike, and Marcus Stewart started the third quarter in his place. Brown spent much of the fourth quarter sitting on the bench with his teammates. He had 2 points and was 1 for 5 shooting in the first half. Oof. The Celtics were playing without their 3 key players this postseason: Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, and Daniel Theis. All 3 injured players were courtside for the start of Game 7, which was earlier tonight. And right now, Golden State is having an easy time with the Pelicans, 59-46, 4:54 to go in the second quarter.
Only a 13-point game. The Pelicans are kind of hanging around, actually.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it. I mean, 13 points can be either the start of a blowout or a team coming back. It depends.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess like that in the fourth quarter, then that'd be considered, gone. Okay, John Wall wants management to weed out unhappy teammates. This should be fun. So anyway, he's saying that the Wizards were on the same page this season. John Wall put the wounds on management to weed out those who don't want to remain with the team and add some pieces to get the team past its frustrating instances. At the team's exit, interviews Wall and had some strong comments about the team's chemistry and wanting players who want to be on the team. Wall did not mention any teammates who might not remain in Washington, but he made it clear that there were some personalities that did not mesh, that some players wanted bigger roles, and these made it clear they wanted some personalities, they wanted some playing in bigger roles, and these issues lingered throughout this season compared to seasons past. While saying the team's current core has shown ability to beat anyone, Wall said there were obvious needs that have to be addressed in certain areas of the roster. Yeah, I can vouch for that probably. It's a lot, Wall told reporters when asked what the Wizards need to address on the roster. I feel like there's a lot we can use. I don't really have to say which certain positions. People who have been around our team understand that we can use our team as not throwing to shade anybody on our team, because everybody that is on the roster gave everything they had to make it work and fit with the team. However, at the same time, sometimes when it's not working, you try, and if it keeps failing over and over, you have to make certain adjustments and changes. So, of course. Despite entering the season with high expectations following a Game 7 loss to the Celtics and the conference semifinals last season, the Wizards were hit by injuries and inconsistency, as they didn't have Wall for 41 games, 28 straight coming after he had knee surgery that kept him out for 2 months, and finished a disappointing 8th in the Eastern Conference. With Wall back in the lab, the Wizards lost in 6 games to the top-seeded Toronto Raptors, making the first time that the All-American All-Star backcourt of Wall and Bradley Beal failed to make it to a second round in 4 postseason appearances. They had a lot to overcome this season, so but at least they did make it to the playoffs. So we have to, gotta give them credit for that. And right now it is 3. We're now in overtime. The Sharks and Golden Knights tie at 3. It's 7:16 to go in the first overtime. I told you it's going to be a while.
Now 7:05 to go.
Okay, mine's a little bit off. We'll just take care of the baseball scores before I hand it back over. And right now, the Yankees still have a 10-1 lead over the Angels in the top of the 8th. There's a runner on second, and there's 2 out. Ramirez is pitching, and Hicks is at bat. Bottom of the 5th, the Dodgers are leading the Giants 2-0. Runners on first and second, and 1 out. Wood is pitching, and Crawford is at bat. And I believe all the rest are a final. Yes, they are. Everything else is a final, so I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. That's going to do it for the Postgame Edition on Spreaker for April 28th, 2017. Before we sign off, I want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on Spreaker and have them share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is in search for a wider local audience that is fans of sports. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast. Its Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. For Louis Tenor, I'm Taylor Phillips. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. on either Spreaker or TalkShoe. Probably Spreaker again. I think this podcast is better off with the mobile phone call.
Yeah.
Yep. So, TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Good night.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Mission complete.